Hey peeps, let's talk a little bit about the bullets we're going to be using this year before we get going. Duck season started about 3 weeks ago, but it's been pretty poor. I haven't even lifted up my gun yet on a duck hunt, but we're headed to Arkansas this weekend for their duck season opener. I'm going to hunt with Matt Watkins up there with Impact Outdoors, and they have some accessible blinds on some public land we're going to try out, and we might be going back home with him a few times. It sounds like a pretty cool deal. Hope to bring some good pub to that. So let's start by letting everyone know again that Rio Ammo is going to sponsor me this year, maybe next year too, I hope. Well, they came on board when they found out I was doing the Ultimate Waterfowl Challenge, and they got me some lead shot in time for dove season. So let's start with lead. Back when I was growing up, we didn't really care about what shot we were doing, what speed. We usually just shot 7.5 for doves. Didn't care about the speed. Didn't even think about that. We just bought the cheapest shells Walmart had to offer. So it wasn't until we got a little older. All we hunted was morning doves too. So about 25 years ago, though, when the white wing population exploded across the state of Texas, we got a little older and a little wiser, but we quickly discovered that our little popcorn shells that were good for morning doves weren't killing too good on the white wings, because the white wings a little bit bigger, a little bit hardier bird, and a lot of times we'd have to shoot that dove 2 times in the air to get it to kill it, or it's hard enough to hit them once, much less twice. So more doves were getting away, and we quickly discovered we needed a little more power behind the bullet. And still, the shells were pretty cheap, but that just kind of opened our eyes to we need the right bullets for the right bird, and the right chokes too. We'll get into that a little bit later. We'll touch on that a little bit because after we talk about the bullets. So my favorite, after all the trial and tribulations, my favorite shot for dove now, especially white wing, is about a 7.5, 2 3/4 shell. I'm not a big fan of 3-inch just because it pounds on me a little bit more. I'll shoot it sometimes with steel, but for lead I like a 7.5, and I like 2 3/4 shell, and I want my bullets to be about 1,300 feet per second. That seems to be ideal for me for killing birds, especially white wings, out to about 40-45 yards, which you really need, because white wings tend to fly higher a lot of times, especially in the morning. So and I like shooting a little farther. I'm a 40-yard shot guy. Sometimes you got to stretch it out to 45. So I will do with the Rio. The Rio's big into trap, skeet, sporting clays. So they also have a game load. But I go into the target shot to find what I wanted. This Star Team Evo has a 2 3/4, 7.5 shot lead. It's 1,300 feet per second on the dot. It's 1 1/8 ounce. So it does, that's the perfect load for me, because it's light recoiling. I shoot it out of my 12. I use like a modified choke, and the Mueller choke is a little bit more than modified. It's like modified plus, I would say. So it's good from like 30, 35 to 45 yards. Perfect for me for white wing hunting, and I'll use it on morning doves too. But if I know where I'm shooting only morning doves and it's gonna be close shot, I use this Rio game load, either 7.5 or 8 shot. This one's a number 8 shot, which is a little smaller, 2 3/4, 1 ounce, and it's 1,250 feet per second, which is still fast enough. Works real good on morning doves, especially like if we're shooting tanks or something, or we're pulling them in 30 yards, 35 yards. We're killing morning doves easy. I like doing that because I got a brand new 20 gauge Beretta A400. I like to shoot at doves. So for the teal, for steel shot, for teal season, I just like the Rio regular blue steel. They got a 2 3/4 inch, 7/8 ounce. Number 4 is good for teal because you usually shoot them decoy and they're pretty close. You know, it's not a lot of long shots. If if I know I'm be shooting backup or something and shooting after everybody else kind of starts, then I'll get into my 12 here. I'll take my 12. This is a 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch again. This is a 1 1/4 ounce deuce. I like a deuce when I'm shooting a little farther. It's 1310 feet per second, which is just right for me too. I don't need it too high power. You know, they make steel with anywhere from 14 feet, 100 feet per second to 15, and that's moving. I mean, maybe if you're shooting way out there, you need that. But I talked to my boy over there at Mueller Chokes, and he's like, and he assured me that the slower the better for steel with their chokes. So around that 1300 to be perfect. So that's what I'm gonna be shooting this year. I did a lot of research on the chokes, a lot of a lot of YouTube research, and seems as everybody that tested a lot of aftermarket chokes, they all ended up with the same conclusion that Mueller was one of the best. So I got one for my 20, I got one for my 12. I'm gonna shoot it all season long. I'm gonna use all this Rio ammo. They're trying to get me some bismuth to shoot with my 20, and I'll let you know if they get it. It's on the way over on the boat. So if I get that, that's gonna be like very similar to shooting lead shot, which number sixes, which was what I used to shoot before steel. I'm that old where we duck hunted with lead shot back in the day. So I'm really looking forward to sharing with y'all the fruits of this labor. It's gonna be a fun ride. So y'all keep up with me, and then I'll keep making posts, and we'll shoot me some questions. Do you have some? That's what I like personally. That's what I found works best. For steel, that if I didn't tell you, I like number 2 and number 3. I like that number pretty good, especially for duck, and it works good for geese too. So see y'all soon. Good hunting.